probably kindergarten or first grade. Can anybody tell me what it is? Go ahead. That's right, a Venn diagram. Remember? On the outside goes what is, yep, different. And then in the middle goes what is the same. Absolutely. All right, now we're going to finish the movie. I just wanted to introduce that vocabulary word to you.
Quadrilaterals. They both have 4 sides and 4 angles. Let's take a look at their differences. Trapezoids have at least 1 pair of sides that are parallel. Parallelograms must have opposite sides parallel, or 2 pairs of parallel sides. Trapezoids do not have to have opposite sides congruent. Parallelograms do have to have opposite sides congruent. Trapezoids don't necessarily have opposite angles that are congruent or the same measurement. Parallelograms will always have opposite angles congruent. Some quadrilaterals do not have any parallel sides and do not fit into any of the subcategories of parallelograms or trapezoids. These 2 shapes are examples of quadrilaterals with no parallel lines. Notice that the lines intersect. We simply call these quadrilaterals. In this picture of quadrilaterals, you can see 2 shapes that do not have the same properties as the other parallelograms. Let's take a closer look at the 2 figures that are circled. They do not have parallel sides and are a special kind of quadrilateral. These quadrilaterals are called kites. Kites do not have any parallel sides, so they are not parallelograms. And they're not trapezoids either. Though a kite does not fit the other subcategories of quadrilaterals, it is important to remember that it is a quadrilateral, as well as a polygon. It's a special type of quadrilateral that has its own properties. It's actually like a kite that you would fly on a windy day. Kites have congruent adjacent sides. The blue arc marks 2 congruent sides that are adjacent. Adjacent means they're next to each other. The green arcs mark the other 2 congruent adjacent sides. Let's use the mathematical symbols to show the adjacent sides are congruent. In this lesson, you have learned to classify and compare quadrilaterals by their attributes.
All right, boys and girls. All right, take just about 20 seconds. Talk to your shoulder partner about something you learned in the movie. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. All right, would anyone like to share? Very good, boys and girls. All right, I'm going to give you another minute, and if you'd like to make changes, remember we're we're comparing and contrasting the quadrilaterals and making a hierarchy. All right, take a minute and go ahead and get started now, please. All right, boys and girls, let's go ahead and share what we have. All right, team 1, can you please tell us your hierarchy and how can you prove it? Very good. Go ahead, team 2. Awesome. Team 3. Very nice explanation. Team 4. Very good. All right, now I'm going to show you what I did. Let's make it bigger for us. All right, I put quadrilateral at the top because all of are quadrilaterals, okay? I kind of did reverse of what we did with the principal. I took it from the most attributes to the least, meaning it's tougher to be a square than a quadrilateral because it has more requirements of its attributes, okay? So I kind of went in reverse order. Now, could you flip this and start with a square? Absolutely. All right, so next I have trapezoid because it only, different from the others, it only requires at least one pair of parallel sides. Then I did parallelogram because it takes it just a step further, and opposite sides must be parallel, so that would be 2 pairs of parallel lines. All right, and opposite sides are congruent. Well, rectangle takes it one more step further from parallelogram. All right, it can no longer be slanted and have acute and obtuse angles. It has to be straight up, opposite sides parallel and congruent, but those vertices have to be right angles. All right, even tougher. A rhombus is just like a parallelogram. It does not have to have right angles, but instead of opposite sides congruent, all 4 sides have to be congruent. So it's even tougher. The quadrilateral with the most attributes is the square, because not only does it have everything above, the sides have to be parallel and congruent, but it must also have right angles. So it's not like a rhombus that can have acute and obtuse. Squares have to have right angles. All right? All right, you guys are doing a great job. We're going to start wrapping up our lesson a bit. We're going to do something kind of different than a Venn diagram. It's still basically a Venn diagram. What I've given you is the hierarchy that I put it together as. You can see quadrilateral is the biggest, and then it gets smaller with each one because it has what? Okay, you're going to talk to your shoulder partner. Why did my places to write information start big and go small? All right, go ahead and talk. All right, let's share out. Very good, because quadrilateral, the most shapes fit that requirement out of all of these. And then the square we talked about, remember, has the most requirements, and it's harder to get. All right, what you're going to do is I'm going to give you a blank, I'm going to give you this as a copy. You're going to work with your team and write down all the attributes you can think of. All right, and then after we're done, I'll show you my example, and you can fill in any that you might have missed, but try to get them all together first. All right, and then once you're done, go ahead and have out your math journal. That way you're ready to go, because I have our ticket out as soon as we're finished. All right, go ahead and get started, please. All right, boys and girls, here's what I put. You're going to notice that these descriptions are going to look very familiar. These are the ones we started out with named quadrilateral. All right, so take a second, review over what I put, and fix yours where you might need to. Okay. All right, boys and girls, we've come to the end of the lesson. All right, I want you to talk heads together, bottoms up about what you've learned during this lesson. And here's our ticket out question, okay? How can you classify and rank shapes by their attributes? All right, talk about it together so you get an idea. Heads together, bottoms up, go. All right, I've already asked you to take out your math journals. I'm going to put the ticket out on the board so you can see it, and I'll give you about 3 minutes to write your ticket out. Okay, then we'll be leaving to go to specials. You need to put your math journal on the table so I can check it when you are gone, so I see how much you're understanding. All right, go ahead and get started. We have about 10 minutes before we have to leave.